Hey, what is up everybody? I am Jason and you watch my channel Micro Investor. So in this video we're going to be talking about two different charging network companies. We're going to be talking about Chargepoint, which is going to be going public through a SPAC merger with Switchback Energy, ticker symbol SBE. Now no idea when that merger is going to happen, but it's going to happen sometime here in 2020. And also Blink Charging, ticker symbol BLNK. Now as we get into this, if you guys don't mind, please do me a huge favor and please be sure to smash, destroy, and annihilate that like button because it does help me with the YouTube algorithm and helps spread this video to more people that might find it interesting. And always be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Now let's get into this. Now the first thing we need to point out in this video, as these are the two most popular pure EV charging network stocks, is that these are two different size companies. Now, of course, Blink has been the first one out in the market. They went public in February of 2018, but they are much smaller of a company than Chargepoint is, even though Chargepoint is just now looking to go public. Now, Blink has a market cap of around $290 million, whereas Chargepoint, when the merger is all said and done, it will have a valuation of around $3 billion, if not more. Now, both these companies have the possibilities to have a lot of upside in the future. That is, as long as they can stay well managed, of course. Now, who would have thought that here in 2020, the largest vehicle company by market cap would be an electric vehicle company? Of course, we're talking about Tesla. And that just shows the interest into the EV industry, that a lot of money is to be made in this. Now, Ford and GM are in the process of converting some of their plants into being able to produce their electric vehicles. And they don't really have much of a choice other than to have to do this. That is because the most populated state in the United States is putting a ban on the sale of new ICE vehicles by 2035. So between that and better battery technology, you can expect that electric vehicles would be surpassing the sale of ICE vehicles most likely within the next 10 to 15 years. And there has been a huge shift in how we use energy. When the global lockdowns kept consumers inside their homes, oil and gas companies lost billions of dollars, and the price of crude oil reached $0 for the first time ever. Just take a look at the performance over the year of iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, ticker symbol ICLN, which is up around 85%, versus iShares US Oil and Gas Exploration and Production ETF, ticker symbol IEO, which is down around 45%. Now let's take a deeper look into these charging companies to see what makes them so interesting and compare the two to see what they offer. Both these companies allow landowners, businesses, and pretty much anybody with a parking lot to basically start their own charging station. Both these companies offer different types of chargers that charge at different speeds. This is great for businesses as it can help businesses offer charging that can bring customers inside to purchase. And even if the person that is charging just wants to charge while using their laptop and hanging out with their friends, doing a Zoom call, because, well, that's what people do nowadays, the host can still generate revenue from the service. Both companies offer free memberships, but they're not required to use their services. The memberships offer easier ways to keep track of where you recently charged from, how much money you spent, and offer a more convenient way to pay. And something different that Chargepoint does with their membership is that they offer what they call their roaming service, where Chargepoint partner with some other charging station companies, and you can use your Chargepoint membership at their locations just like you would at a Chargepoint station, and it keeps track of everything. Now, they did not partner with Blink on this, go figure. Now, there is a big difference in the coverage of these two companies. Whereas Chargepoint claims to have around 23,000 charge stations, Chargepoint has around 110,000 of them. Chargepoint has been growing a lot of coverage in the United States and Europe, and they plan to have 2.5 million charge stations by 2025. Now, as we look back at Blink Charging's map, we can see that Blink is not available in all 50 states, and some of the states that they do have charging in, it's not DC fast charging. And you see these locations here that have this lock on it, that actually represents a charge station that is not available to the public, and they do have quite a bit of those. Those are locations where businesses have that people cannot access. And there is a lawsuit because of Blink Charging possibly lying to shareholders about how many charge stations that they actually have. The class action lawsuit is for investors who purchased shares between March 6, 2020 and August 19, 2020. On August 19, 2020, analyst Culpa Research published a report entitled Blink Charging Company, You Might Want to Miss It. Culpa wrote, "We believe that Blink has vastly exaggerated the size of its EV charging network in order to siphon money from the pockets of investors to insiders. Blink claims that EV drivers can easily charge at any of its 15,000 charging stations, but we estimate that the company's functional public charging station network consists of just 2,192 stations, a mere 15% of this claim." Culpa stated in its report that it sent out investigators to confirm that almost no one uses Blink charging stations, many of which are in utterly decrepit conditions. Our on-the-ground visits to 242 stations at 88 locations across the U.S. revealed a plethora of neglected, abused, non-functional, or otherwise missing chargers. And it's quite possible that this class action lawsuit is all because of short sellers, which Blink did comment on. We believe these reports were intended to manipulate our stock price downward in support of short sellers. Blink Charging category denies the allegations and their implications. And that could quite possibly be the case. As you can see, the Blink stock did have quite a big run up just before all this came out. And then as you can see that there was this big drop here on August 21st. But it has recovered a bit since then. Now let's look at the charging rates. So we'll start with Blink. And for simplicity, we'll use California since that's the state that I live in. Blink's level 2 charging member rate is 49 cents per kilowatt hour, and the guest rate is 59 cents per kilowatt hour. Their DC fast charging rate for members is 59 cents per kilowatt hour, and guests it's 69 cents per kilowatt hour. Now in Chargepoint, I checked my specific area, and it was very similar in pricing as Blink. Some were priced lower, but Chargepoint also did have some that were completely free. So a lot of those places were in areas where they charge for parking anyways though, like in parking garages. But some of them were like legit free, like at movie theaters. So that was really cool to see. Now obviously with Chargepoint being a much bigger company, their revenues are going to be much larger than Blink's. But just to give you an example of what Blink's revenue is, Blink's revenue for the first 6 months of 2020 was around $2.9 million. Now, I could not find anything for Chargepoint's revenue for 2020, but they don't really have to since they're not a publicly traded company yet. But they did release their 2019 revenue, and it was $147 million. And they forecast it to be around $2 billion by 2026. There's different types of investment strategies that can be done with both these stocks. Now, me personally, I like Chargepoint, and I can see that being a long-term holding. But one of the things about investing into it as a SPAC is what we tend to see a lot when these things are getting ready to merge is that the stock does run up a bit, and then after the merger is complete, there's a big sell-off, and a lot of people are getting out of the stock, and it drops down quite a bit. But I can see in the long term, Chargepoint being a great stock. That's just my opinion. So anyways, I'd like to hear your guys' opinions about these EV charging stocks. So as always, everybody, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I have new videos coming out on my channel all the time. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next video coming very soon.